Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. Today is the data forecast for all signs. It is a collective reading, so it is broad spectrum, spoken in broad terms. You have to figure out if and where it fits in your life. It is a collective energy that's out there for us to be aware of or utilize to the best of our ability, take advantage of, or steer clear of if it's something that we don't want to deal with. It is originally set for Saturday, the 4th of December, which is the day of the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So it should be a pretty powerful day. It's an interesting day. It kind of ends the cycle of that um, lunar eclipse of the new moon, I believe, the full moon in Taurus. That was a few weeks ago. So it's completing that cycle, and it's an eclipse on an eclipse. So it's some heady planetary energy. If you're new to me, please check out the drop-down menu. Just look at the rules, regulations, what decks I use, how to contact me, and where to follow me. If you like this reading, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and leave a question or a comment. And share the video out with your friends. So basically, this is a kind of take what you need and leave the rest scenario. If it applies, great, use it. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Nothing's wrong, nothing's broken. You just might be working on something different. So let's see what the cards have in store for us. One moment. The dogs woke me up at 3:30. It's like I'm not even allowed to even slightly stir in bed because the minute I move, they think, "Oh, it's time to eat," and they go buck wild. So I was up at 3:30 this morning. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands. This is actually a really pretty card, considering what the Five of Wands normally indicates. The Five of Wands can be about competition. It can be about opinions. It can be about sort of arguments or debates that sometimes get out of hand. I mean, when you look at this volcano behind her, that's the only indication of maybe attitudes, aggressions. Um, uh, you know, I don't want to say fighting. It doesn't have to be fighting. It can be sometimes like sparring. To me, the Five of Wands, the way I perceive the Five of Wands, and I could be wrong about this, but I always kind of look at it from this place of sort of a bit of an annoyance, right? Where it's like, oh God, I got to deal with this situation again. And do we want to get into the fray? Do we want to get into the fight? Is it that important that we prove our point? Right? There's usually a winner in the Five of Wands, but there's always like this sort of journey, debate, argument, spar, hurdle we have to cross to get there. And there's no guarantee we are going to actually get there. Does that make sense? For some reason, with this Five of Wands, I feel like this could be somebody holding back maybe their true emotions or feelings. That's the volcano behind her. She's got those white lilies in front of her, which to me is like sort of a purity protection thing going on. And she is somewhat connected to the lava that spews out of the volcano, and it sort of rises up in her if you look at the design to me. But it's not necessarily. I feel as though she's not necessarily maybe expressing her true aggression, anger, or whatever. I do get this sense of, excuse me, a little bit of a withhold in this card, or a drawn back aspect to it. And I'm not so in a disagreement to that, only because we do have that Hierophant energy underneath this. And the Hierophant is a spiritual card. He's an educated card. He's not going to be a card that's going to sink to the Five of Wands normal level of, argumentative back and forth. Does that make sense? So I kind of like this depiction of the Five of Wands, especially with the Hierophant underneath it, because it gives me a sense of, even though things may not feel right in our world, we might even be resentful or angry or upset about something, and we can feel that brewing in a very real way within ourselves. We have some semblance of self control over it. is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this card. We have a semblance and an awareness of ourselves, and we know like that maybe this too shall pass. Maybe, and I'm not saying don't voice your opinions, but I do feel like if your opinion is going to only create maybe a needed upset for you or further upset for you, is it really worth it? And that's the question that I pose to you today, or the question that I want to ask you today, because the Hierophant would probably be like, no, girl, you need to like chill. Don't worry. They'll figure it out. It's not important if they understand your side of things, or it's not important if you prove your point to them or you win this, argument. And this argument could be anywhere in your life. It can be within your love relationship, it could be within your work situation, it could be within yourself with something that you want to change within yourself that you're struggling with, right? But wherever this argument may lie for you, or this back and forth, wherever this upset sort of, to me, that volcano almost feels sore, right? And that's kind of the thing with the Five of Swords, is in the debate, or in the sort of the challenge, the competition, the sort of drama of the Five of Wands, sorry, not swords, the Five of Wands, somebody's bound to get hurt. And I kind of feel like you might be wiser to that by now, and know that I don't want to be that somebody, so I might, kind of put my head down and stay in my lane. Does that make sense? And so, and know like when to pick my battles or where to pick my battles. I also feel like I love that how that lava is kind of rising up in her in a more controlled fashion. So if we are expressing ourselves today, or our frustrations with someone else, there is a possibility that we may be able to channel that expression or that communication in a way that is peaceful and productive. That would be the white lilies in front of her. Oftentimes those white lilies signify death to me, but I don't get that. I get more of like a calmer, purer, protected nature to it, right? So it feels to me like if we are going to express ourselves today, we want to keep that concentration on, or that expression, and how we go about do it, concentrating it or focusing on expressing it in a way that's true to us, right? But that is not lashing out, that is not biting back, that is clearly, to me, those lilies almost signify us communicating our own frustration with somebody else in a way that's actually pure and beautiful, maybe even kind, rather than just blowing up on them, even though we may be angry underneath the surface, right? Very angry with that. With that volcano back there. That volcano to me, it almost looks like a big sore. Like it looks like it's giving me like a wound vibe to it, right? Have we been wounded somewhere? Has somebody said something or done something to us that we haven't fully come to terms with? And the fives, remember, are about change. So for me, this would be about it. This is transitory. We're not stuck here, and we're not always going to be stuck here. There's a flow that's happening in this card, the card that I feel like is important to note, meaning depending on how we handle this, or if we handle this at all, there's a way to do it with grace and dignity rather than just exploding on somebody. Now, here we go. Phoenix Rising. We've seen her before. Card number 32. She's about, to me, kind of using her own personal magic to redefine herself. I love that we see all of this fire in the Wands card. Remember, fire is about that spiritual connection. It's also about that desire and taking action, right? Although with this Five of Wands, to me, it feels like, is this the right action to take? Is now the right time to sort of maybe get upset with people, right? Or to tell people how we really feel. And if we're going to do so, how can we do that in a productive, kind, compassionate manner and still express our feelings? I think that there's a way to do that too, also because her cape, that green cape, gives me this sense of healing. So those of you that are going to go the route of expressing yourself, if you do so in this way that's more peaceful, calm, compassionate, yet clear, don't get me wrong, but there's, you're still clearly voicing your, say, maybe your dismay or whatever it is that you've got going on for yourself. You're offering yourself in some way, shape, or form a healing. And that's that green cape that surrounds her to me. Okay. I'm not saying you all have to go out there and tell everybody how you feel and when they're doing something wrong, like, hey, look here. Phoenix Rising to me also allows us, are we behaving differently in this situation? Is the hold back or the expression from a place of compassion something different than what we would have done in the past? Would we have just blown up like that volcano in the past and like made a big mess and made things worse or ended things altogether? This to me feels like when Phoenix Rising shows up, it's like, okay, let's do something different. Let's rebuild ourselves in a way or express ourselves in a way that's more productive, that's more gentle or healing towards ourselves if we're going to do and go about that expression. Does that make sense? I hope that does make sense today. The Phoenix Rising has power to it, right? She is working her own sort of magic out of that book, out of her own knowledge. And that book, to me, in the bottom part of her card, right, that spell book that she's working with, as she's working her magic, redefining herself, rebuilding herself, or bringing herself back to something, either as powerful, if not more powerful than where she once was before, right? If we were defeated, hurt, upset, whatever. She's doing it from that book, and the book to me represents the knowledge of the Hierophant, right? The wisdom, that institutional wisdom, that societal, spiritual, connected wisdom that there's a right way to do things and a wrong way, and listening to our spirit first prior to maybe expressing ourselves might be the exact thing we need to do today so that we don't hurt ourselves or others. Now, interesting stone to have in conjunction with all of this. It is on, I believe, malachite, which is a stone of communication. It's also a green stone, similar to the green in the cape here that I was associating with healing. Green always takes me, the colors green and pink are associated with that fourth chakra, the heart chakra. And again, that's a space of not only the spirit, but also a place of compassion and kindness and our emotions, right? The word on there is namaste, and namaste is a greeting that means essentially the God in me honors the God in you. So to me, for those of you that are choosing to maybe withhold your misgivings or frustrations around a situation or with people or others, that could be your Phoenix rising. That could be you redefining yourself. That could be you honoring the God or the spirit within you by not getting involved or sinking to the level of what you normally would or what they would normally expect, not getting drawn into the argument, right? Or further into the drama. That's you honoring the God in you, but it's also in essence honoring the God in them at the same time. Remembering that, right? So grounding in that today, that there's a higher path, a higher goal. There's a phoenix that is to rise out of whatever situation you feel might be unfair or harmful or painful for yourself. There's a way to rise up out of this in a way that's non-competitive, that doesn't harm you or anyone else any further. So keep that in mind, guys, as you move through this day. It should be a powerful day, and that Hierophant energy also is going to bring about that sense of a better spiritual connection to oneself and a vaster or wider array of knowledge from having experienced whatever you've experienced today. So that's important to use that knowledge and continue to build upon that. That is your forecast for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Please hit that thumbs up button. Please share this video out to your friends or to your groups. And please subscribe for those of you that are new. I am trying to build the channel. I've been at it for 3 years now, and it's been a slow go. And I hope it's not my readings. All right, take care and have a lovely day, you guys. Bye-bye.